Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish out there. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as
Bitcoin, pump, altcoin, pumping.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Prepare for this.
Pullback that we're looking for. Where is the target going to go? Crypto dip, altcoin crash, Bitcoin crash. It's not a crash. This is what we're looking for. Next leg up soon. Let's go. The Bitcoin and crypto absolute super cycle is right on the cusp, and yet people are worried right now, looking at a little bit, very minuscule, tiny little dip. And I'm looking at this dip as a setup for that next leg to the upside. What am I talking about? Well, let's dive in and look exactly at these charts and the levels that we're watching. We're going to be going through charts. We're going to be going through altcoins. We're going to be going through technical analysis and some critical stories that are setting up further bullish outlook as to where this market's going. Because when we look at this, I mean, look at this beautiful structure. Nice bottoming formation on Bitcoin with a bullish divergence that launched right off this lower range, tested the previous range high right back here at this $74,000, $75,000 region, launching up, breaking out of the zone, coming up not only out of this zone here, but breaking beyond where these range lows are back here. What we're watching for right now is an absolutely necessary bullish test of where they're going to come in. If we do get a little bit of a move to the downside, it would not be out of context. In fact, it would be exactly what we're looking for before we make that next move to the upside. If we get a bigger move to the downside, great. We still have this range that we can watch for a test before the move to the upside. As it stands right now, I'm seeing incredibly bullish structure on Bitcoin. I'm seeing incredibly bullish structure on what we're seeing on the total three here. If we look at this on the, several different charts, breaking out of this basically descending range, coming back, retesting not only on the moving averages, but this previous resistance now potentially flipping to support. So what we are looking at right now is everything we want to see before that move to the upside. In fact, there's some other key signals that we need to pay attention to that have signaled that we may be seeing a little bit of stress for the bulls in the near term. And that's just people that are expecting it to break out immediately on a 1 hour chart, on a 2 hour chart, on even a daily chart. We want to see the necessary tests of the bullish conviction so we can build that healthy stair step to the upside. So my question for you is, what are you doing about it? Are you running for the hills and scared and closing your positions? Or are you looking at the opportunities that are presenting themselves so you can take advantage of this before this market absolutely runs away from us? So let's look, let's dive in. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? We got several hundred people in the room. I know we're going to have a couple more thousand tuning in here in just a few moments, but let's go ahead and dive in. What are we seeing? Well, first off, we got Alexandra G, Ugin Sky, Falco, One House Productions, Green Day Profits. The homies are in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's here. If you are tuned in on X, if you're tuned in on Rumble, shout out to you. If you're tuned in on YouTube, wherever you're tuned in here, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I will say on yesterday's stream, I said if we got to 40, we would do a giveaway. and that is the retweets. We only got 24. We had, I mean, look at this, 3,299 viewed just on X. We had another 17,000 or something view on, you can't see it, but it was about 17,000 people tuned in on Rumble and another 2,000 or 3,000 tuned in on YouTube. But the point is, if we all collectively get together, show some engagement, hit the like button on the stream, hit that retweet. If you're watching on YouTube, X, or Rumble, come over to @KellyKellam or @Academy BitLab. You will see the stream. Hit that retweet, hit that like button, show some love. If we get this over 40 by the start of tomorrow's stream, when we start it up, we will do a $100 giveaway. So all you got to do is show some love, get some engagement. Shout out. We got Black Ice 710 back in the chat. How you doing? Tater, how you doing? We got the fam jam here, so big love to each and every one of you. But let's get into it. What are we looking at? First off, let's refresh this page because the market is moving up and about and rocking around. We are right at that $3 trillion mark, pull back just a little bit to 2.91 trillion. Everything right now is in context of the setup for that next leg to the upside. So are we really that frustrated that the market isn't running away? I know I got another invoice coming in here in a couple of weeks. When you're actively getting in this market and you're actively looking forward to where this market's going to go, you see small pullbacks in price action. You see these little bit of retests that are still incredibly bullish structures. You see this as opportunity versus being like, why is it going down? No, we need to adjust our strategies so we can take advantage of movements and forecast what those movements are going to be so we can understand how to navigate versus being navigated by our emotions. So when we're looking at this and we see, okay, we're at $2.93 trillion. We're seeing the price action relatively flat with a bit of chop involved. Thank God. USDT, very flat. XRP having a little bit of a pullback. BNB having a little bit of a pullback. Solana, a little bit of a pullback. Basically all the alts. You see Bitcoin holding relatively flat. We're getting the altcoins getting a little bit of a drop, and that's not the end of the world. In fact, it might be presenting you opportunities. So which opportunities should we take? Well, let's dive into it. Let's talk about some of the things that we wanted to talk about today. First off, Eric Trump, the son of the current U.S. president, says, basically warning. Eric Trump warns banks must embrace cryptocurrency or face extinction within 10 years. This is a very bold statement as to what's going on. I don't know why my mouse is doing that. You see how it's just kind of shaking around. Let me say that again. Eric Trump warns that banks must embrace cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, altcoins, the technology in different ways. We're going to see how this is integrated. And those banks that do integrate, also with stable coins, those banks are going to persist and actually expand what they're able to do into the future versus those that are sitting on the sidelines or ignoring the most obvious trend in finance, culture, technology that we've ever seen. Those banks will go extinct if they do not embrace and warm up to and provide different blockchain and crypto services to their members. This is going to be the trend. And similarly, as an individual or as a corporation, those that are foraying into the crypto realm now are going to see a dramatically different opportunity landscape in their future versus a very limited, if any, opportunity landscape for those that are sitting on the sidelines into the next few years. Right now is the time, and we need to make sure that we are taking advantage of that. Next, we got Coinbase said that many sovereigns are buying Bitcoin. Is it just words? Is it just lip service? Well, let's talk about it. Well, Mayor of Panama's capital says the country is all in on Bitcoin and that a strategic reserve is coming. We also already have El Salvador. We have Bhutan that's been mining. We have Brazil, dancing around what's going on with their involvement with crypto. Argentina. We see what's going on in the U.S., of course, and across the states of the U.S. This is going to be the trend of the future. And it's not just a trend, it's a restructuring of what our economies and financial systems are built on. That is of critical importance. Those that act early, whether it's a nation, a state, a corporation, an institution, or an individual, those that are acting now are going to be in a dramatically different position than those that don't. In fact, we're going to see some countries, some corporations, and some individuals leapfrog other people that have been very very tightly wound into the top strata of their, of their various fields. We're going to see people leapfrog, corporations leapfrog, countries leapfrog based on what they're doing now in terms of how they're getting involved in a real way with Bitcoin, blockchain, and crypto. This is the time. I'm so excited about this. The fact that anybody is even mildly frustrated about what's going on with the market right now just blows my mind. Shout out to crypto. We got Stevie Crypto 6, Chipper, Crypto Crank. How you doing, my friend? Chris Pfaff. We got everybody rolling in here. So big love to all of you. Got about 1,100 people tuned in right now. But let's continue on. What else we got? It's not just Panama. It's not just El Salvador and Bhutan. We got other things as well. We're advising many countries, except in Europe, on how to set up a crypto reserve like in the US. Europe isn't part of the discussion. It's missing on the map. This is CZ, the founder of Binance. This is going to be of critical importance. And hopefully Europe and the European Union and Great Britain and all these different countries that are over there step up to what this technological revolution is, because it's going to leave countries behind. It's going to leave corporations behind. It's going to leave so many individuals behind. And the funny thing is, every single person, institutional country has the authority to make that choice for their future right now. This is the trend. Much like light bulbs, much like the advancement from horses to cars, much like the advancement from typewriters to computers, those that get involved will so incredibly leapfrog those that sit on the sidelines. This is of critical importance, and this is being talked about on a daily basis, and we're seeing it on chain too, with corporations and individuals and various players on the world stage, from individuals to countries. Those that are getting involved are seeing an incredible change to the way they can interact with the world. We've talked about this at length, but I want to get through some of these stories because we got a lot of TA I want to go over. We're going to be diving into a number of different altcoin TA. So throw in some altcoins in the live chat right now. What coins are you looking at? What have you been kind of wondering about? Get active in the live chat, whether you're watching here on YouTube. By the way, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right here. Make sure you ding the bell. This is what we mean by ding the bell. Turn on notifications and join us here. Once you subscribe, you should see a join button. Become a member here on the BitLab family channel here. You'll get, it's about $1.25 a week, and we post regular content there. And then we also got the Rumble crew here. Make sure you're following here and you hit the like button, show some love. This is a new account we're doing on Rumble. We have a partnership with Rumble. We've been getting massive viewership there, between 20 and 45,000 views a day on our video content that we're doing over on Rumble. It's all multi-stream. So shout out to everybody wherever you are tuned in from. Get active in the live chats. Now let's go through some of these things. We're going to get to the TA here in just a moment. So we got that. We got the countries getting involved. We're talking about that, but this is what we're looking at right now in terms of setting up the TA for the day. Yes, the dollar has been breaking down. This is good for risk assets. The caveat with that is it doesn't mean it's going to just go straight down. When we're looking in the near term, this does look like we're getting a little bit of a sort of rounding bottom, almost like a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders here with the bullish divergence. RSI showing flat bottoms here with the price, the charted price action on the dollar, much lower lows with flat lows here on the RSI, suggesting we could get a little bit of a relief bounce here on the dollar. Now, I think this will be a short-term thing. And if that were to take place, then this may spell a little bit of a bearish pressure on Bitcoin and altcoins, aka just risk assets in general, if this were to happen. If we get a little bit of a bounce here, not the end of the world, but it may mean over the next week or two. And remember, we just had a new moon, basically means no moon, about 2 or 3 days ago. Whether you believe in astrology or not, there's been a very regular, persistent consistency of full moons being very good for the markets and new moons being a bit more on the bearish landscape for what we're going to see. Now, whether or not that's a real thing or not, we're seeing a regular, consistent trend in that regard. And so let's ignore the moon. Let's just look at the bullish divergence on the dollar, suggesting we may get a little bit of weakness, maybe not just a breakdown, but a weakness towards the bulls in the near term if this does start to push up. Similarly, what else we got? We've got the May. The question, Is it going to be that same trope? Sell in May and walk away for the summer. Well, here's what it looks like. This is the maze. Okay. Sell in May. We did have a little bit of a bull trap here and then a sell off, but then look at this. If you sold in May here, look at that massive move to the upside. Okay, sell in May here, but we still have the continuation following this a bit of a dump, continuation to all-time highs. Okay, sell in May, yeah. Sell in May, yeah, but then it did continue back up. There's no clear signal that says sell in May and walk away. It's basically 50-50. And considering the landscape right now being so overwhelmingly bullish and only getting more bullish in terms of where we're at in the cycle, what's going on with a very crypto forward friendly and empowering administration here in the US, the regulatory bodies releasing their foot from the throat of the crypto markets, and capital just absolutely waking up to the opportunity that's in Bitcoin and crypto, partially because of the new administration, partially because of the softer regulatory stance, and just the growing awareness of Bitcoin and blockchain and crypto and what this technology can mean for efficiency, for transparency, and also the money opportunity and being so early in an asset class to see and realize massive gains that are possible, let alone, again, all the efficiency and transparency. The sell in May, walk away, I do not think is going to be something that's going to play out this cycle, meaning coming up starting tomorrow. We got to pay attention to this. Don't follow all the people, the doomers are saying sell in May and walk away. Let's look at the charts. What do the data say? What does the breakdown say in these markets? Well, currently, the accumulation trend is spreading top down. The smart money making the smartest moves first. And what is this? This top line right here, this is different wallet sizes. This top line is wallets, you can see over here, of over 10,000 Bitcoin. This next line right here is 1 to 10,000 Bitcoin. This one is 100 to 1,000, 10 to 100, 1 to 10, and then less than 1. What do we see? The largest, smartest money on this dip started getting into this accumulation again. And now it's starting to spread down to the still very large wallets, 1 to 10,000, and then still quite large. Let's be honest. Would you like to have 100 Bitcoin? Hell yeah, I would. 100 to 1,000. Also, basically the biggest money players are in accumulation right now, and people are wondering if we're at the top. Big money overwhelmingly does not stack into market cycle tops. They're stacking in with strong hands that are absorbing weak hands selling. So the fact that this is happening is giving me indication that we're more likely than not, among all the other signals that we've looked at here in the crypto market, that we have so much higher to go. And we're going to look at some more data on that right now. Shout out to Glassnode for this great chart. I'm going to give the like right there. Everybody, make sure you hit that like button, show some engagement on the stream. It always helps. We put this content out for free every day on all these different streaming services, Rumble, YouTube, X. And when you guys just do the most simple thing of paying some love for by hitting that like button, sharing this out. And remember, we'll do a giveaway tomorrow. We do this every day. If you on the stream that is being broadcast on, let me share this. Where's copy link? I'm going to share this in the live chat right here. If you want to go and retweet that, if this gets up to over 40 by tomorrow, the retweets and likes, make sure you're following me as well. We will do a $100 value giveaway. I'll share this right here in the Rumble stream as well. I'd love to give back to you. And also I appreciate you guys showing some engagement on the channel. I don't really care about the likes and the dislikes on there. It's a great way to give back by letting these algorithms know that you are tuned in and paying attention. Also, the live chat also helps as well. So big love to all of you. Now, remember, this is great on the midterm to macro, this breakdown of the dollar. On the very near term, this is showing signs of a little bit of a relief rally, which would basically what I'm looking for is something like this before continuation down. So if that happens, it's okay. It means we're going to have a little bit more of a setup over the next week or maybe week and a half to potentially get and scoop up some more crypto or just get out of the chart so you don't get stressed out. That's okay. Not everybody has capital on hand all the time. Sometimes maybe the capital you need to utilize is your time, your energy, your focus back on friends, on family, on something entertaining. It doesn't always have to be money in the markets. Remember, there's more than money in this world. And that's the way you feel about people, how you spend your time and energy with those people, how you're spending time and energy for yourself. So this is suggesting a little bit of a de-stressing situation. If this does push up, manage your time and your money accordingly. I know I'm going to be stacking if we do get another bit of a dip. Now, continuing on, again, big money stacking into these levels. And then what else do we see? We are seeing an interesting metric here from Cena. Cena and Plan C, the real Plan C, been doing some incredible charts in the last few months on what's going on here. But the interesting thing here is Bitcoin has historically grown 6x. Bitcoin 6x from here. Well, what does this mean? With every 40% increase in its age. So almost like a logarithmic, right? So you're getting an exponent. You see how these are getting bigger, 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 bigger? There's a bit of time dilation or a needed longer amount of time needed for large growth. And it makes sense as the market cap is getting larger and more careful hands are getting involved. But it does suggest that there's still massive growth potential from here. It's just going to take longer as this cycle moves along. And that's okay. It means that we have more time to stack into the areas that we want to stack into, whether it's Bitcoin or altcoins or Bitcoin proxies in the stock market like Strategy or Metaplanet or GameStop, or using yield generating stuff like MSTY. Maybe we'll do some content on that. But this is suggesting, look at this. 6x, 6x, 6x coming up this way with just a little bit more time each time this happens. So as this is happening, it just may mean you need to be a little bit more patient. But the way this market's going and the amount of capital that's on the sideline just waking up, I could not be more bullish. And that is great. It's a great thing. It's a healthy thing. And we just need to be aware of this. When you're aware of data, you can allow yourself a lot less stress in the market because you're aware of what your projections are over time and weigh those against other people's projections. Now, continuing on, what else we got? Boom. Check it out. Bitcoin had a perfect support retest on the MVRVZ, and there's a gargantuan gap between Bitcoin has had a perfect support retest on the MVRVZ score, and there's a gargantuan gap between here and the cycle top zone. This gap right here, this gap right here, this gap right here. What we've seen in previous cycles, we're not going to do the same thing, but it's very likely going to rhyme. And what we're seeing here, this is that MVRVZ score. And this is the measurement of the distance of the actual tradable price of Bitcoin on exchange versus the realized price, the average price of every Bitcoin in circulation the last time it moved, right? So this is that separation. When you get explosive growth, you get this huge peak in the MVRVZ score. And what we're seeing here, which we've seen in every cycle, is this retest of the zone before the explosive move to the upside, Okay, we've got the rhyming pattern here. Are we about to get this explosive move? And if this were to take place, this measurement, if this were to explode up into here, would show a massive move of the value of Bitcoin in US dollars or whatever currency you're measuring it in, but the value of Bitcoin separating from the realized value, which would mean a massive uptrend in price action. So this, I'm just showing you what we've seen. Rinse and repeat. It's going to be a little different, but with all this money on the sideline, how can you not be bullish on this chart? Shout out to CryptoCon for this great chart here. Now, continuing on, what else we got? People are bearish in some wild, I would say absolutely insane way right now when you're seeing the Bitcoin price following the global M2 money supply right now. And people are worried, oh, it's going to break down from here. What signal is suggesting that? If people are worried about the tariffs, what's going on with Trump and the trade war, I think all that's going to find its way to resolve itself out in the next 3 to 6 weeks. Maybe longer. Maybe 6 to 9 weeks. I don't know. It's throughout the summer. I think all this is going to be resolved, and the market's going to absolutely slingshot to the upside, considering what we're seeing with the global liquidity chart just absolutely exploding higher. We also saw changes from the Secretary of the Treasury, Bessent, talking about Maybe they're not going to print money, but they're going to change how they're doing and add new mechanisms within basically the reverse repo market, with how they can do buybacks, with how they can inject money into the markets in other stealth fashion. So they are talking about it. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do. So we also have the FOMC meeting coming up next week and then another one in June. Will we get a rate cut in May? I still think it's fairly unlikely. I think there's still a bit of an ego battle going on between Jerome Powell and Trump. But I think as it's priced in on the CME FedWatch tool, it's about 7 to 10% likelihood in May. The overwhelming likelihood is going to be June for that first rate cut, but it doesn't mean they can't use other mechanisms in the market to start doing buybacks, to sort of inject liquidity in the markets in a stealth fashion. So this is giving me supreme bullishness, especially considering all the nation states that are now trying to move forward with strategic Bitcoin reserves or other integrations of Bitcoin and the crypto ecosystem. And then we talk about the altcoins, baby. What do we got for the altcoins? This is a total 3. It has broken out. Even in the last breakout, we consolidated after the breakout before the massive extension rally to new highs. This is what Caleb Franz is talking about right here. Breakout and then a little bit of chop sideways, retesting back down into a known zone. Okay, massive breakout, and then came back down right into the same zone. Now, of course, what we're seeing here is the start of a breakout, kind of like where we're seeing right here. This does not mean we're getting this immediately. You have to be aware of that. We can be excited. We can still be stacking. We can do exactly what we want to do. But the point is, if you're just expecting this breakout to be basically this portion of the market right here, moved over right here, realize this was still from October all the way through December of chop. Nice rise, sell off, nice rise, sell off, and then launch. So this is a setup for something that is incredibly bullish within the altcoin market. However, it doesn't mean it's going to happen immediately. I still think there's some things that need to shake out in terms of the trade war, in terms of what's going on with India and Pakistan. Potentially, Pakistan might be declaring war on India tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. There's a lot of things on the geopolitical stage, and this would make it understandable beyond just looking at the chart that we may have a little bit of a choppy zone in the next couple of weeks. Now, looking further, what do we got? This is the others chart. I posted this morning. Falling channel, just respecting this very nicely. And then what do we got? Inverted head and shoulders potentially forming here, where we have the left shoulder, we have the head, right? The bears tried, failed. Bears tried a lot more, failed. Now, if the bears, this is already starting to do this trajectory, and I did not add this line. This line I already had on this chart. And this is what we're looking at, a breakout of this descending resistance line. This is everything outside of the top 10 on CoinMarketCap. So when we're looking at the, basically CoinMarketCap rankings of coins size by how much money is in that ecosystem, if you eliminate everything out of the top 10 and just do an index of the market caps of every other coin, that's essentially what we're looking at here when we see this chart. So we got a little bit of a pullback here. And if this does hold this region right here above this orange box, which coincidentally also has these two moving averages converging right at this zone. If this were to bounce anywhere in this region and continue up, this would be a great bullish reversal signal for all those altcoins that you're holding. Now, if this does lose this, then it gets a little bit more contentious in the near to the near midterm of potentially further downside. If this comes down into here and loses and falls further, that may spell pretty large pullbacks in your altcoins. So you have to trade smart and accordingly, and either take advantage of that opportunity or have stop losses to exit positions if this does lose this region. But this setup is feeling good. I do think we're in for kind of a contentiously frustrating time because of the trade war and the tariffs and India and Pakistan. And if right? So things are feeling so ready, but it's also like, you know what I mean? The team's dressed up and go ready to play some soccer, but it also, you see some storms on the horizon. You don't know if they're going to hit or not. We just need to trade smart with where we're at right now. Now, continuing on, where are we at? Look at the cycle. Now we're going to jump into some TA. This is the halving where this shaded area starts. This is just measuring how far we are from the halving. This overlays this and shows you what it has looked like in previous cycles up to the same point, and again, up to the same point. Now, The market cap is much larger. So the question is, can the price action cycle, the way this looks, look like earlier cycles like 2017? I would argue yes. Although the market cap is exponentially larger, we also have access to exponentially more amount of capital that is now not only interested in Bitcoin, but also has a capital channel to enter Bitcoin, whether it be through self-custody or through buying proxies like the Bitcoin ETFs, like through Fidelity or BlackRock, 21 Shares, VanEck, Bitwise, so on and so forth. In addition to that, we have nation states on the horizon that are about to stack in ways that we can't even fathom. And we also have corporations like MicroStrategy, Metaplanet, GameStop, and more that Similar Scientific that are buying Bitcoin in droves. And people are getting access to Bitcoin or exposure to Bitcoin through those proxies. So what we're seeing right now, although the exponential market cap size here compared to 2017, I think what we're going to see is an extended cycle that looks similar to what we saw in 2016, 2015 into 2017 here, basically just extended out, much like what we saw on that chart from Cena 21, that these 6x multiples on Bitcoin price are now basically taking 40% longer each time. So that would make sense and also would kind of smooth out a little bit of what we're seeing in this cycle. Everything is on the table right now with everything at the cusp of changing so dramatically because things have changed so dramatically. So we need to be aware of that and stop being so fixed on the 15-minute chart unless you're actively day trading, in which case do that with a small percentage of your portfolio. And on that note, I do want to shout out our channel partners, Elbank and Arculus. Make sure, guys, there's a competition going on right now, and there's also some special access you'll get if you sign up with us on Elbank. The link is pinned in the top of the description of the live chat right here. Click on that link and make sure you have a VPN on. I always set mine to Brazil or something like that, just so people can't target me and try to steal my money and all that kind of stuff. It also helps you if you need to sign up for different things. But head over to Elbank right here. Once you sign up through that link, register to participate. There's still 7 days left in this, $13,000 in bonuses. And I just saw something this morning. I have to confirm, I think they're doing 100% bonus. If you deposit $100, you get $100. You deposit $500, you get $500 extra to trade with. Now, it's Elbank, and also make sure you're protecting your crypto. Make sure you're protecting your future. Head over to getarculus.com. That is ARCULUS, getarculus.com. Use code BitLab20, BITLAB20 for 20% off. Again, protect your crypto, protect your future. One tap, simple security. It's my favorite crypto cold storage solution. Now, let's get into some more TA here. Let's look at what's going on because we saw the total 3 chart has broken out. It's retesting. We saw the others chart has broken out. It's looking like it wants to do a bit of a retest. But what are things looking like? Well, with Bitcoin, I'm looking at for something. I'd like to see this, which I've already had drawn out on the chart from several days ago. Oops. I'd like to see the price action on Bitcoin come down and test this region, basically about 91. Potentially even dipping a little further, scaring the bejesus out of people that aren't prepared, but testing into this range here, anywhere from 91 down to $88,000. This is a previous range lows. Also had some rejections. We sliced through this like butter. It wouldn't be surprising to me to have this sort of pull back a little bit, much like we saw when we're looking at that Dixie chart that we were talking about. If the dollar starts pushing up, this would give further indication that we might see this also have that little bit of a dip. That would clear out some of the liquidity. When we're looking at the liquidation charts here, massive liquidity above us. However, there was a lot of liquidity below us, which we kind of started to scoop out a little bit more of a node here at 92,645. Let's actually go to the larger time frame. Let's go to the monthly, and we can see there's not a huge amount of liquidity below us, but with the dollar positioned as it is for a potential rise, with the new moon, with the way the market moves, it would not surprise me. In fact, I think it's very likely, especially with this shape and structure, for this to have a bit of a pullback to at least high 91s, 91.8. But what I'd like to see more is for the price action to actually take a little bit more of a dip down into here and then work its way back to the upside. Understanding that that's likely leaves you a hell of a lot less stressed if it were to play out. Now, if it doesn't happen, that's fine. If this ends up just being a sort of wonky bull flag and has the next continuation to the upside, that's very possible too, especially with how many countries are on the horizon right now working towards getting strategic Bitcoin reserves or even just acquisitions of Bitcoin into their treasury in any regard. So what we're seeing here on Bitcoin, it feels very good. Just be cautious for a little bit of a dip. Ethereum had the breakout. Look, breakout came right into this this moving average right here on the 4MA. I believe that is the 55. Let me see. So we have the 50, the 21, the 50, the 150, and the 200. So the orange is the 50 moving average. This pushes up, finding some resistance on this. If this does get rejected, I'd really like to see this retest 1679. That'd be a little bit more of a bullish bounce in this zone. But if this just holds kind of similar to Bitcoin and is able to slice through this, I'm looking for a likely rejection at 2130 and a potential retest back on this zone right here that it's having trouble getting through. That would look like something like this, up here, find some support, a little chop before it makes that next leg to the upside. Similarly, on the ETH to Bitcoin chart, this is still looking like it's getting a nice little rounding bottom. If this can hold, then we have a chance to start showing a little bit of an attempt to reverse this massive downtrend we've seen on ETH to Bitcoin. Now, similarly, we got on Solana, very, very much like we saw on the others chart, inverted head and shoulders potential. If this were to hold in this region, then we may be set up to take a pretty large move out of this, which would look like look at that target. I'm doing this live with you guys. The target out of this goes directly to this previous range that we already had marked out on the chart. Now, is that going to happen? Let's track this day by day. And if we do get a bit of a move to the downside, we understand what's likely. Now, if Solana is all going to be mostly governed by Bitcoin, but if Solana loses this region, then I'm looking for coming back down here into the 118s, 120 to 118 sort of zone. Again, if this is lost, then I think bigger things are at play. Chainlink. Okay, same thing. All these charts are starting to look very similar. Look at where it's trying to find some support potentially at these two moving averages, the 21 and the 50. If this is lost, then I'm looking at coming back down here to 11. And if that's lost, then all the way back down here to the high 10s. Now, continuing on, what else we got? We got Ondo. They're all looking exactly the same. You see this? Now, Tau. BitTensor's making some pretty big moves lately. Nice move up, and also some big news coming out with different subnets that are being launched and by certain key people in major tech ecosystems like Google and so on and so forth. There's a great video DZ put out yesterday, I believe, on Discover Crypto, breaking down some things on Tau. And in fact, if you come over here to BitLab Academy, I did a video on Tau several months ago, about a year ago almost now. I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere in one of these. You'll see it if you come over here to videos. There is a video on Tau. Where is it at? Somewhere in here. There's a great video I did breaking down Tau. Somewhere. Where are we at? I don't know. It's right here. BitTensor Tau. It's if you go to videos on this page and then scroll down, you'll see that right here, BitTensor top altcoin. This is 8 months ago, and we wrote it up. We took some profits as it was moving down, and then we got back in when it was much lower. And now I have more conviction on Tau now, especially with some of the things that I've seen. I have so much conviction. This might shock you. I have so much conviction on BitTensor that I would actually love for this to come back down. I'd love for this to come back down here into the 300s, like 301, 302, potentially a little lower, because I want to stack more into this. So do what you will with that. It's up to your own strategy. But I see some big things happening there with BitTensor. And we have not had any sort of retest back to the downside after this breakout. So that would be very healthy. Aerodrome, same thing. Look, kind of bull flaggy, but also looks a little bit weak here. This looks like it wants to make a bit of a move to the downside. Currently on the 4-hour, holding the 50 moving average. If this were to come down, I'd be watching to come back down here to, it tried to bounce off that 53 cents. I'd be looking for an opportunity down 53 to 50 cents on Aerodrome. Render also made a pretty nice move to the upside. Nice reversal pattern with the W formation. Broke out. Currently, it's just retesting this neckline. See what I mean? Neckline, rejection, rejection, rejection. Broke out, testing. If this loses, I'd be watching for another opportunity down here, 381 sort of region. Avalanche, we're running through some stuff today. Very similar structure, except W formation, but this did not break out of this. You see what I mean? See this W formation? This is more bullish. Broke out, it's retesting. Avalanche, very similar formation, but this is only beating its head up against the wall. So this has not had that breakout move beyond this neckline yet. If this is beautiful because it's coming down into this zone right here. I could see this coming down a little bit further, 1960s, kind of this sort of range. It starts getting a little bit more scary for bulls if this does lose this range and come back down into here. But I think it would be a great opportunity. I think Avalanche is going to do very well this cycle. XRP. Okay, XRP, let's go to the 12-hour, double click here. Okay, XRP has had this falling channel. It's broken out of this zone. I don't know why my mouse is acting so stupid. Okay, it's broken out of this descending resistance. Now it's flipped this to support. It's come up, but it's having trouble getting through all of this price action. You see all this price action? It got rejected almost immediately. If this loses this zone, I'd be looking for a move likely down here into basically the $2 even, maybe a bit lower down to 189. If the market as a whole takes a bigger swing lower, then this as a whole may be actually showing a bit more weakness and coming down to test a bit lower. But as it stands right now, I think everybody's holding on for that bullish kick from the tariffs or a trade deal from India or China or so on and so forth. But I think this is gonna do very well. As it stands right now, it kind of feels like a no-go zone. This is trying to break below this 50 line here on the RSI. See this? It's breaking down below, which is suggesting weakness on the 12-hour. What does it look like on the daily? Yeah, see, it's holding above. It's trying to hold above the 50. If this comes back down, then this is essentially saying that there's more weakness in the market than strength. Cardano. Same thing with XRP, chopping right into all this range. See this bounce here, see this chop right here, and this is, again, if this loses, then I think that this is going to take a little bit bigger of a spill down, potentially even come down much further, but I think that's a doomer sort of thing to say. I think as it stands right now, this is looking more like a trend to the downside, just seeing this sort of trend like this. I'm just seeing this with my chart vision. See a bit of a falling channel with the deviation up, deviation below. If this loses this, I'd be looking for a move back down to 55 cents, potentially down to about 46 cents. But I'm not going to call that right now because I think everything's hinging on a very good story that's going to just launch stuff or, a more catastrophic story that's going to signal a little bit more weakness for a period of time. But guys, I'm bullish. I'm feeling good about the market. Let me put it this way. If the market has a bit more of a downside price action over the next couple months, I'm not mad at it because I see the incredible bullish wins and the platform that Bitcoin, crypto, the altcoins, the platform that we have going forward now is the most bullish setup we've ever seen in the crypto market, with the support of world governments now getting on board and corporations and ultra high net worth individuals and some of the key market players in the global finance singing the praises of what's happening with Bitcoin and the crypto market. So right now is a time that if the market gets a bit more bearish for the next few weeks or even a couple months, sing hallelujah for the opportunity you have to continue to DCA at these prices. Find opportunities to stack in. Make sure you're not going all in on one altcoin because you really like it. This market is very fragile in the altcoin space. And I think there are going to be some great altcoin plays, but I do think that over 99% of the altcoins that are out there are probably going to fail in the next 5 years. So be smart about it. Realize if you're taking an altcoin play this cycle, that it needs to be for this cycle. Don't just marry your bags. We got some great opportunities that are presenting themselves. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We're going to head over to Blockchain Basement now for our fam jam time over there. Go over there, drop some love in the live chat there on the the Blockchain Basement stream. Said the BitLab fam is here. Big love and shout out to everybody. Crypto Crank also says healthy pullback for Bitcoin to touch 87K. All targets lead to it. Hey, I was just talking about that $91,000 to $88,000 level. I definitely agree with that. But Big love to you. And shout out to everybody. I appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out, only because it's great for the algorithms here on the streaming services. Again, shout out if you want to go follow us over on Rumble. It's at BitLab Academy, BitLab Academy here. Hit that like button. We're getting quite a bit of viewership there. Shout out to Nasaji. How you doing, my friend? Big love to you. And remember, you can sign up for Elbank. Show some love there. It's going to get you access to a super group that we're doing. We're merging the BitLab Discord into Discover Crypto and Blockchain Basement all as one super group. And you're going to get access to a good portion of that if you sign up with our Elbank link right here. It's also in the description below this video. It's also in the pinned comment here on YouTube. And you can find other links right here if you need VPNs and everything. Remember, we got great deals on stuff here for VPNs, for Nords, for 4 months free for Nord. But this is that link if you want up to $13,000 in bonuses for Elbank. And again, remember, protect your crypto, protect your future. GetArculus.com. Use code BitLab20 for 20% off. Best crypto cold storage solution out there. One tap, total security. Big love to all of you. That's all we got for today. If this is your first time here, I do appreciate you coming on. My name's Kelly Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab family. I'll see you in the next stream. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Adios.